Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another TA update on Bitcoin. I wanted to get an update out before this weekly close coming in for Bitcoin. There's a few macro charts and also a new chart that I did want to talk about today. So let's dive into the new chart, starting off with the USDT dominance. Now, what's interesting about the USDT dominance is when the USDT dominance seems to push up to the upside, this is really indicative that people are looking to move into a risk-off phase. People are exiting cryptocurrencies per se, like your bitcoins and your altcoins, and they're moving into stablecoin bags to de-risk themselves from the markets. So I've highlighted a few times in green where the USDT dominance, basically the stablecoin dominance, goes to the upside. People are looking to hold more stables, people are looking to hold more stables, people are looking to hold more stables. And with this, you can see over in green here, when the dominance increased to the upside, the price kind of more or less stagnated and then slumped down into new lows. Over here in green, you can see Tether dominance started to ramp up to the upside once we hit this macro trend line. Boom, 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 boom. And then you can see we hit here and the dominance went on a massive run to the upside. People were looking to exit their cryptocurrency bags and move into stable coins while the markets were cooling down. And of course, the markets just continued to crash to the downside while the USDT dominance went back up to the upside. Now, you can see over here as well, there was a smaller pump. So for example, USDT dominance topped out over here. This was the quote-unquote bottom at 17,500 for Bitcoin. And what happened is the dominance went down, the price action went to the upside, very similar to what's happening right now. You can see over here, we came down to this heart line where we've got touch points, very clear touch points right here. Clear touch points here, flip resistance, flip support, and then you can see resistance, flip support. When the bounce happened over here and the USDT dominance went back up to the upside, if we zoom into the price action, as you can see, once we bounced over here, this is when Bitcoin lost its lows back in June and then continued to break down to the downside in November. And you can see the opposite in red. You can see a breakdown in the dominance from the start of this trend line over here. If we come down to the Bitcoin price action, this basically marked the bottom. Bitcoin went on a run to the upside until dominance spiked again and price went back down. Over here, you can see USDT dominance broke to the downside. What happened to the Bitcoin price action? Well, this caused a massive bull run. People were exiting their stablecoins. They were jumping into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and that is when the price went back up. You can see over here, USDT dominance broke down to the downside. Price went on a spike, and over here, just like right over here, you can see dominance broke down, price action bounced back up, and then over here, literally what's been happening in the past 3 or 4 weeks is the USDT dominance has been breaking to the downside while the price has been spiking up. However, you can see that we're coming into this very important trend line right now, and it looks like a macro decision is soon to be made. We've bounced from this many times, respected this trend line many times, and as I just talked about, the most recent time we came down to this trend line, we bounced on it, held it as support, and price broke down into new lows. And of course, if we are looking at the higher time frame for Bitcoin, which I will pull up over here, you can actually still see since this spike over here, right where the Bitcoin dominance topped out, around about 25,200, or sorry, the USDT dominance, we are still making lower highs on the BTC USD price action, while the USDT dominance is making higher lows. So I'll keep you up to date on this. If we do bounce on this trend line and the USDT dominance goes back up to the upside, this would be indicative for another move, just like we saw over here, where Bitcoin broke down to new lows. Just wanted to share this new interesting chart with you. Now, before we move on to some more Bitcoin charts, let's update the total cryptocurrency market cap and the altcoin market cap. In terms of the total cryptocurrency market cap, you can see we're very close to pushing up to the highs on the 31st of October, but we're still making lower highs on the higher time frame. If we do zoom out from here and we look at the volume profiles, you can basically see since we broke down into this area of not so much liquidity, we bounced on the 786 Fibonacci and we head up to this green box, which marks a huge area of volume, which is one reason why I do think this is one big liquidity grab. I do think the markets are getting a little bit ahead of themselves on this move, and if we do come over to the total 2, looking at the altcoin market cap, you can actually see altcoins are looking much weaker at this moment in time, which is why I'm about to upload a video Potentially, I might upload this beforehand, but I am looking at some new altcoin shorts to play out very, very soon. You can see, right now it does look like the altcoin market cap is showing weakness. We've pushed up, we're still making lower highs. I'm not saying that we can't push up a tiny bit further ahead of our next FOMC meeting. But this is looking like, once again, we're moving into an area of huge liquidity, almost bouncing on the 786 Fibonacci, but this entire structure just looks like lower lows and lower highs before a macro consolidation, before a huge break back down to the downside. Also, higher time frames for Bitcoin. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see, just like we highlighted, the highs up here at 25,200 macro highs are still absolutely in play. And when we do draw our Fibonacci's from the swing high down to the swing low, I fat fingered this a tiny bit from this low over here. You can see that in terms of the weekly candle body closes, we are getting stuck underneath the 786 Fibonacci. There's a different way to spin this though, because if we do come over to this chart over here, get rid of the MFI very quickly, you can see, there's two sides to this coin. On one side, we are getting stuck underneath the 786, and in terms of this higher time frame chart, we are breaking above this trend line. If you do watch the channel, you do know I'm not the biggest fan of trend lines in the first place, but of course this is a very important weekly candle body close. So of course, coming into Sunday, you would really, if you are a bear, want to see Bitcoin. Where is the new candle going to be opening over on Monday / Sunday? You would really want to see Bitcoin close beneath 22,200 if you were looking for a rejection on this trend line. It looks like we're holding quite strong on this at this moment in time. However, if we push up for the next few days and then FOMC comes out, we get 50 basis points, which is my personal prediction, then it is looking like this could be, once again, another chart on a liquidity grab where we do soon break back down to the downside. Let's now come over to the BTC dominance. So right now the Bitcoin dominance has been exploding to the upside. We talked about in the most recent charts, when you're looking at the total crypto is doing all right just underneath this low, but the altcoin market is showing extreme weakness. So from this, we know Bitcoin is currently outperforming, and we can also see this in the BTC dominance chart over here. Now you might think it's good, the Bitcoin is pushing up, and depending on your perspective, it may be good or bad. However, if you're looking for a cryptocurrency market rally, it's not necessarily the best thing. So you can basically see over in 2017, we had this small consolidation range before absolutely exploding up to the upside. And over here, you can see, we're having a much more prolonged accumulation range over in this area. However, BTC dominance has been exploding to the upside literally since about the 28th of November, pushing up and up and up and up and up, while altcoins have been showing mass weakness. And you can see over here, what actually happened when the Bitcoin dominance went on a rally back in this time. Dominance was falling, dominance was falling, dominance was falling. BTC dominance exploded to the upside. What happened was, once we were breaking up and up and up, this was pretty much where you found yourself coming into the final capitulation before making those bear market lows. Now, we haven't really had an absolutely explosive move up in terms of the BTC dominance. I do think it's likely we could probably approach around about this 60% level. So, from where we are at this moment in time, this could indicate the Bitcoin outperforms altcoins by about another 35%, or at least the Bitcoin dominance pushes up about 35% from where we are right now. So, previously, Bitcoin dominance moving up in the upside is not always the best sign in terms of the BTC USD price action. So, it is looking pretty dire. Also, we talked about liquidity grabs over on the weekly time frame for BTC USD on the Binance chart. You can see, first of all, if we do look at this chart, you can see, the weekly candle body closes round about 24,300 are looking like they're serving as strong resistance. We didn't quite approach 24,000, but we are showing weakness right now. You can see from this wick right about here, we got stuck at it and started to break down. And also, if we're looking to the left side of the screen, looking at the volume profiles, you can see, there's one big volume cluster here, there's one big volume cluster here, and then there's another big volume cluster here. If we do manage to break above 25,000, it's going to be pretty much smooth sailing for a little bit further, potentially 29,000. I don't think that's in play, but you can see we are in one of the last huge areas on the volume profiles. Once again, indicative that just like the last time we came into this was a liquidity grab and we did break back down to the downside. I do think this is also another big liquidity grab. Now, on the concept of liquidity, let's wrap up the video. Let's pull up the MFI weekly time frame, and then we'll look at some liquidity conditions for the greater markets. MFI right now, if we draw a trend line, you can basically see, you know, we're just sitting on top / inside this macro trend line, depending on, you know, how conservative or lenient you're being with this. We're basically sitting right at resistance for the MFI. Looking at the money flow index, lots and lots of volume has come into this market quite recently. And it's the same with the S&P 500, which we will look at in just 1 second. So, you know, there are a lot of signs right here saying that we really should be topping out for Bitcoin. If we pull up the stochastic RSI, even on the weekly time frame, we are absolutely overextended right now, even more overextended than the peak on the 31st of October, around about 22,000 or so. So it is looking, you know, all of these signs really are showing me that we should be breaking back down to the downside. Let's see what the squeeze momentum indicator is doing. We're ticking into light green for the first time in absolutely ages. We're still in a bear market in my opinion, so this is really not a good sign. Daily time frame, you're seeing a lot of the oscillators start to turn down. MFI turned down, stochastic RSI turned down, even though the price action isn't actually breaking down. So these two on the daily time frame are actually a bullish sign. You're seeing MFI break down, you're seeing stochastic RSI break down, you're seeing squeeze momentum indicator break down. This one in my opinion is not too bullish. However, these two, you are resetting momentum right now. So this is why I'm really saying, you know, do be cautious. I personally am on the sidelines. I've been sitting on the sidelines for a little while. I'm not trading this market. I'm really waiting for this next FOMC meeting to come out in 3 to 4 days over on the 1st of February. I do believe if we have that 50 basis points come in, that is when I'm going to be looking for my next short in the markets. But like I said, higher time frames, everything is still absolutely bearish. But when you're coming over to the daily, you know, seeing things like the MFI and the stochastic RSI reset are kind of, well, not kind of, these are bullish signs that you do need to take into consideration. So if you are entering shorts right now, personally, I am looking at a couple of altcoin shorts that I am going to enter very, very soon. However, when we're looking at, you know, what's happening with Bitcoin, Bitcoin's clearly leading the market right now. And I do think, you know, if you're going to be trading Bitcoin, it might be best to wait until the FOMC results. If you get 50 basis points, boom, short, that's what I'm going to be doing. If you get 25 basis points, once again, I would be sitting on the sidelines for that. However, the Fed themselves have quite recently said that we require much more evidence before even considering a 25 basis point increase. So keep that in mind. Now let's wrap up the video on liquidity conditions for the greater markets. Let's look at the S&P 500 book depth, visualizing liquidity in the past year. Now, you know, we talked about this before on the S&P 500 chart, so I won't pull up the S&P 500 chart, but you can see, you know, top in liquidity, this was a top in price action, top in liquidity, top in price action, top in liquidity, top in price action. And right now it looks like we might be coming up for something like a triple top. So if I basically zoom into this data point, and this data point over on this chart, you can see once again we had one top over here, one top over here, and we're actually pushing slightly higher than we were on the top over on the 1st of December. However, the S&P 500 is still making lower highs in terms of the price action. So that is definitely a dangerous sign. We're seeing liquidity conditions looking like they really want to top out in the higher time frames for Bitcoin, and in the higher time frames and the lower time frames for the S&P 500, lots of liquidity has flown into the markets, but financial conditions have not changed. They have not pivoted whatsoever. So like I said, just wanted to get a TA update out. In terms of the next Bitcoin trade, I will be holding off until the FOMC meeting. If we get 50 basis points, I will be looking to get a trade out on this day. However, I am already eyeballing up some altcoin shorts, which I will talk about in some videos very, very soon. Potentially, I might even upload them before this video comes out, because I'm looking to upload this video over on Sunday. If you are watching this over on Sunday, I am actually away. I've recorded this on Saturday, so I did want to get a video out for you to watch over on Sunday, even though I'm not going to be here. So that's all I've got for you today, my friends. If you do enjoy the content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. And if you do want more of my posts, charts, memes, economic data, be sure to head over to @618_cowboy over on Twitter. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.